Hey there, this is Hyena, and you're watching TF2 ASMR. In today's episode, we're looking at CP Cloak. Cloak is a small control point map with an unknown purpose. The map appears to be unfinished and was probably used for testing. Despite it being a control point map, it only has one control point, which is the default for King of the Hill. It consists of a spawn room for each team in opposite corners of the map. There is a control point in the center of the map on an elevated platform that takes 50 seconds to capture, making it one of the longest to capture. If the point is captured, that team wins instantly. There are no health packs, ammo crates, or resupply lockers in the map. Outside of the main area of the map, there is a giant model of each class looking through gaps in the walls. Given these prominent class models, it is possible that at least part of the map was created for testing the Skybox scaling. It is unlikely this map was ever to be used in regular gameplay, given its strange nature. It was developed by Valve and never released. We're gonna map out we're going to CP Cloak, MP Tournament 1. Okay, so this is available for tournament mode. See how draw HUD 0. Oh. SV cheats 1. And then we're gonna go CL draw HUD 0 with no clip. We want to remove our draw model, or view model. So we're going to go R, draw, view. I'm always terrible at reaching 0. Okay, alright, and first here we have the calendar picture of the lady on the red calendar. Very pretty, very nice. Try not to, I don't know. And of course, CP Cloak is famous for its super strange skybox here with just giant models of the Mercs. Not all of them have their pupils visible. We can see Scout is looking really hard to the right here, or our left, because his pupils are very barely visible. We've got NG here, and I guess his pupils are never visible, but we've got the giant spy looking in disgust and horror at the actions of the mini mercs that he's witnessing. Maybe he's having a realization of self. Let's see. Got Medic. He never really needed pupils. We've got Soldier. Looking very good. Got the grenade there. Everyone's got their neat arm patches. I like decorating like jackets, like battle jackets and denim vests kind of stuff as one of my hobbies. And I definitely think I need to get my hands on some TF2 class patches. Giant demo with his own grenades, his pill grenades versus hand grenades for his launcher. His pupil is not visible. Excuse me, his pupil is missing, just like the rest. I'm sure his eye is like rolled back. Heavy has his pupils, and you can really see in detail like his bullet belt. He's kind of watching. I'm sure he's wondering why, if we look here where he's looking, there's like a strange light that's also like a larger version of the capture point. It's slightly bigger and slightly more chrome. versus this capture point, which is the real one that you stand on to capture. But it's not aligned perfectly with the question mark. It's actually off a little bit. Doesn't quite line up. I guess in testing they just wanted to make sure it worked, not that it looked absolutely playable. A neat wooden ceiling with some, I'm assuming these are concrete walls painted red. We've got a blue light for blue spawn and a red light for a red spawn. If we go down here, we've got Cracky Pop as the stage that we capture on, with this delightful young lad enjoying his sweet beverage. We got 2 arrows here, both of them are blue, signifying you need to climb the wooden plank. And of course we have blue spawn through the blue chicken wire, where we have the blue lady for the blue calendar, looking very lovely. Let's see. And then one of the neat facts about this map, or neat things, is this skybox is visible when you exit through the engineer. You can actually go and see the normal sized mercs floating over here. Let's see. So everyone that's standing down there, we can see them standing in the exact position. Obviously this was used for some sort of skybox testing, because we're surrounded by there's still large blocks of concrete, these red blocks, but they're much larger when you're in the actual building. Which is probably testing something like draw distance for all the skyboxes before it has to become like a JPEG or just a cutoff. It's really interesting. We can look at these blocks here, and then we look over there and it's the same exact blocks, because this is the end of the skybox, but that over there is the end of the projected skybox, which is really neat, interesting. Skyboxes are one of those video game magics I've never really understood, other than kind of visibly how they work, right? I don't, programming wise, understand everything I'm looking at. That's kind of what makes it interesting to me. And of course, these are still rather giant models. If I'm floating right now as like a normal spy, you can't see that I'm a spy, but if I'm like a normal spy, I'm like up to the hips on heavy or the knees on pyro. Yeah, not so these have to be like, they're 25 foot, 30 foot mercs in the skybox itself, and then in the projection they are 50 to 100 feet. My view model currently isn't visible, but I wonder if I made it visible. Let's try that really quick. Our draw view model down, we're going to set it to 1 and see if I show up. I don't show up in that skybox between heavy and pyro unless I'm really small and we just can't see it. But we're just going to turn that back off for now. But yeah, let's take this opportunity to check out some details on the mercs themselves. Pyro's black and yellow. I'm assuming these are fire grenades. A fun fact about TF2, in early development, instead of like special weapons, everyone kind of had a standard set of weapons they could load as a loadout, and then they all had their own special grenade, which is interesting to think about, because it wasn't long after grenade testing that they realized everyone was just using their class's grenades instead of their weapons, so they kind of converted that philosophy into the Mercs having their different weapon sets. Obviously, I'm sure the medic always had something like the medigun, and the pyro always had like, a flamethrower type deal, but making it more weapon focused, their gameplay, I'm sure was a great move. I can't imagine if TF2 played like Call of Duty World at War on its hardest difficulties, where it's just raining grenades. Of course, we've got Demo over here who at least only rains 4 grenades at a time, instead of 12 people spamming. Let's see. We've got a pressure gauge for Pyro's flamethrower tank backpack. Looks like, is this hydrogen? I'm not sure actually what makes, or what a flamethrower runs on. I'm sure it's not like helium, though both of those things are combustible. And of course, we can see the nozzle doesn't actually have a hole, because there's usually a tube, rubber hose that extends from there into Pyro's flamethrower. It's really interesting that they're standing like they're holding weapons, but when you look through the window in the actual level, they kind of look like they're just standing there, because you can't see below their shoulders. Of course, Sniper's got his sunglasses. Pyro's got the neat optical mask, as it says. I never realized the glare on Pyro's face was so prominent. We got Sniper's bullets, his backup, in his nice vest here. Some cool pouch pockets. I'm sure that's where he keeps either more bullets, or maybe his Girardi is in there and it just pulls it out like a cartoon. I wouldn't put that past TF2. Of course, he's got a quiver for the huntsman. I'm sure that's also, like when he pulls out his SMG, that's probably like where his rifle goes. He slings it on his back. Even though I don't think that's a very comfortable or tactical position to carry something like that. It's kind of like swords. Swords don't really go on your back. I can't imagine many other weapons comfortably are carried that way in a combat situation. We've got Scout here. And again, we can see he's looking at Sniper. We've got his hand wraps here. His, I'm sure it's for grip and for impact resistance. They use wraps like these, I think, for boxing practice, when you're hitting like a bag instead of a person. Boxing gloves and like boxing tape, and like those MMA gloves with the fingers cut out. They're not actually designed to protect the person or the thing receiving the punches. It's mostly to protect your hand. The hand of the person doing the striking. We've got Scout's duffel bag here. And we've got Scout's headphone. Nice and up close. His Turtle Beach headset, as it were. Or half headset. Gotta keep one ear open in case your mom yells for you while you're gaming. You can tell her to shut up and leave you alone more efficiently. Just kidding. We all respect our mothers here. We've got Adidas. Of course, Scout wears Adidas. He has that vibe. And I know it's socks, but to me it always looked like really pale legs. Because he's a comic nerd. And maybe he doesn't leave the house as much as he claims to, but it is socks. It's tall baseball socks. And we've got his baseball cap. Or kind of a baseball cap. We've got NG here. NG with his hard hat. I'm sure secured nice and tight to his head. Looks like it. Looks like he does a good job brushing his teeth too. We've got his goggles. Well modeled, kind of. They're actually different from Pyro's goggles, which for a long time I thought NG's goggles were just Pyro's mask without the mouthpiece. Like trimmed down versions of the Pyro's mask. Overalls with kind of phallic shaped fasteners if you flip that upside down. We've got his single glove because he doesn't have the gunslinger or that one cosmetic that gives you a second glove. An extension cord. I didn't know NG had an extension cord with him. I wonder if that's still on the player model or if that's something they had in early game and decided to remove. Very cool though. Interesting enough, it looks like if this is an extension cable maybe for sentries and dispensers, they don't have a ground on them, that third prong on the bottom that keeps it safe ultimately, which explains a lot about the behavior of the sentries and dispensers and teleporters. I can't imagine they don't have their own power source, and maybe that's why they removed it. It's kind of hard to imply that something has a power cable sticking out of it when it can be just in the middle of the forest or the desert in like a roadway with no outlet in sight. Knee pads. Knee pads are very important. Whether you're a skateboarder or you do flooring or engineering, knee pads are incredibly important for protecting your knees. And your knees are some of the most important parts of your body. So, good on you. Good job. Looks like NG's wearing some Columbia boots. Very early models of Columbia. I like the little black circles indicating that it has like tread that sticks out from the bottom of the shoe. And looking at Pyros, they've got the same kind of bottom. They're actually just black. They're kind of shaped like, well, it's the 1960s, so these could be like early model Doc Martens, though modern Doc Martens are a shameful husk of their former glory, advertising mostly to a high fashion market that maybe you should leave them alone. But that's a whole other topic for another video. I didn't check out sniper shoes. They look rather nice. These may be B-52s by Bullboxer in brown, I would say. Can't see a zipper. Unless it's implied that they're like cowboy boots, which would make sense being in Australia. You don't want snakes or spiders or anything getting at you through the pant leg. And so maybe these are cowboy boots. I don't know any specific brands of cowboy boot. That's not a territory of shoe I've yet to interact with, but I do hope to expand my horizon someday and maybe meet some country folk that like wearing cowboy boots. It makes more sense in their environments where there's tall grass. I've only ever lived in places that are mostly concrete. So, the snakes, you can kind of see them coming from a long ways away if you see them at all. Usually, though, they're in my area. Snakes are near like train tracks where there's very little people. Most animals tend to leave areas that are more populated. With Spy, starting with his outfit, it looks like we have some nice... I think it's implied that these are Oxfords, but kind of their own boot style. These might be the Bullboxers of the group. These are the B-52s by Bullboxer. No visible zipper. Oh, but if we look through the pants, we can see it is an above the ankle boot. So I would say that's a more fair assessment, calling those the Bullboxers than calling the cowboy boots the Bullboxers. He's in a nice, I'm assuming it's a 3-piece suit. His vest is always like off to the side or weirdly positioned. I never really understood why his vest was never lined up in the middle, but maybe it's a tactical thing. Maybe that's just how Spy likes to wear it, cocked to the left of his body. Maybe it's where he keeps his gun, so he doesn't want to reveal too much by having it center focused. Nice lapels. I don't like that look you're giving me. I'm doing my job. He believes he's holding a revolver. We've got his lit cigarette, which is, it's brown, actually. I don't know any brown brand of cigarette, so I can't speak for what it is he's smoking, but I'm going to assume it's like either a personal roll in a holder, like a cigarette holder that acted as a filter, or it's got a long filter on it. Either way, you shouldn't be smoking, Spy. It's kind of cringe. It's like edgy, but in the less fun way. More in the knock it off way. I like the implications of his ears. His ears are massive under his mask, whereas everyone else's ears seem not small, but relatively normal. I think it's actually the first clue that he's not really French. If you have observed in the comics some of the extended lore, Spy is actually English and is in disguise as a French spy. So when he wears a paper mask, disguising himself as one of the other classes, he's actually a dude playing another dude who's playing another dude. Which, I respect the dedication. Spy's got a nice necktie. I don't think it's Garcia. I'd say maybe it's a George, given how basic it is. But of course, being in his line of work, he doesn't want to draw too much attention to himself. Hence the balaclava. Nice. I like that he wears leather gloves. And that's animated pretty deep in there, or modeled, not animated. It's modeled pretty deep in there. Nice long, almost princess gloves, which, slay queen. Down here, we've got medic. Again, in a sort of combat boot. More, these remind me of like rain boots. I guess he's working in, let's say, moist environments, so he's got to protect those feet. I like the way his pants are tucked in to protect his skin from detritus. We've got these nice baggy, kind of tucked in to his shoes. They look like slacks, but they could be some sort of chino. With the texturing from 2007, it's hard to tell the difference. Let's see. Because I think it's implied that, like, Heavy is wearing cargo pants. And then maybe Sniper's wearing, like, brown trousers. I always thought that Scout was wearing, like, baseball pants. If you know what I'm talking about, not the super tight ones. They got popular in, like, the 2000s, 2010s, but the very loose, baggy running pants for baseball. You can tell that and she's wearing jeans, but I guess, well, it's not jeans, it's coveralls, but coveralls are often made of denim, so I'm assuming they're denim coveralls. Let's see, got Spy's badge on his arms with a nice button-up lab coat. We've got his backpack, kind of field tested. It's got some blood splatters on it, some missing paint. Of course, usually there's also a rubber hose that extends from this, like the pyro, into the minigun. This little box here for probably a backup baboon heart. And then we've got a front pouch which probably has Archimedes in it. It's got suspenders. I think it's actually a fastener to make, like, it's a belt system for carrying the very heavy backpack for the medigun. I can imagine, being a man of medicine, the medic takes spine health very seriously. Like, he wants to keep his back nice and protected while he's running around carrying such a heavy device. Soldier. Obviously we have combat boots. He's wearing probably fatigues under his jacket, though it looks like it's a white t-shirt. Maybe it is a white t-shirt. The pants from his fatigues and his rank jacket. 2 grenades, yellow stripe in the middle, very good for blowing yourself up with a taunt. We've got a pouch here, probably where there's more rockets, and a pouch here, probably where there's more rockets, and a pouch here, probably where the shotgun is kept. I'm not sure where they store all their weapons on their person, so either more rockets or a sidearm is in this pouch. I really respect the large lapels. I've always really liked long collars on jackets that you can pop and they stay in this position. Keeps your neck protected from weather elements like rain and wind. Of course, it also means that it meets with the helmet, so really no backdraft from the wind blowing behind him is going to bother his skin or distract him. No pupils, but a nice jawline. His helmet is untied, which makes you wonder how it stays on. Yeah. And I like Spy's lapels quite a bit, but they are standard business suit lapels. And I feel like the collar on Sniper's dress shirt, overshirt, dress shirt is really nice. I like Pyro's kind of, I can't remember what the Chinese garment is called, but it has like that collar on it. Do we see it looks like that's skin underneath there, just under the mask. So that would make sense that it would make sense that Pyro is like naked in the fire suit. Looks like, I didn't notice earlier, Sniper has a pretty cool watch. Doesn't show the time, but it's got that nice geometric kind of look to it. Here we have Demo with 6 pills on his vest. Each of these are grenades that go in his grenade launcher, though I think he pulls them out of one of his pouches when he reloads. I'm often wearing the dead of night, so he doesn't have any grenades usually when I'm looking at him on my screen. And the little draw model in the bottom left corner, I usually have him in. Neat pouches though. It's cool that they're well equipped. He's got his flak jacket on that extends this little flap down here. Keeps him safe and from blasts, I'm sure. Nice skull cap, kind of beanie. Keeps his head dry and warm. His iconic eye patch. Nice sticky grenade as his emblem. And of course, Demo was really cool in 2004, 2005. So he wears long sleeve shirts under short sleeve shirts. It's just, you know, he was ahead of his time. Got some nice boots here. These are neat. It looks like they also have some form of blast protection on the ankles, which is really cool. I like the accessorizing of these long boots, also with his pants tucked into his boots, which is really neat. It's a style I think needs to come back a little bit. I don't really jive with a lot of modern alternative scenes or alternative fashions, but I would say with Y2K and baggy jeans and like cargo pants coming back in style, these big like combat boots, these heavy combat boots with the pants tucked in goes pretty hard, and I think seeing more of that would be really cool in the real world. Personally, I wear black Columbia boots I bought from Goodwill for $8. I dyed them black, and I roll my pants up to show the whole boot, so I have like the cuffs on the bottom of my pants. But maybe I will try and do some sort of style where I tuck my pants in. Let's see. And lastly, we have Heavy. Which is that everyone? Yeah, 3, 6, 9. Yep, that's everyone. And lastly, we have Heavy with his bullet belt. For Sasha, in another episode I said Natasha. I mean, both are correct. They both shoot the same bullets, but obviously one's his main squeeze and the other one's his side chick. His other gun, if you will. We got a neat pouch. He's got a brown belt on, which doesn't match his shoes, but I wouldn't tell a guy like Heavy he's lacking in style, because he is the most stylish and debonair and pimpin' of the TF2 Mercs. Very, very stylish man. Very much meant to be feared, because he looks this good and does the damage he does. He's got fingerless gloves, kind of like Scout, but they're made of leather. They're kind of biker gloves, or powerlifting gloves. You gotta do some powerlifting if you want to be able to carry something like Sasha. So Scout actually has a cosmetic that changes his hand wraps with leather gloves, very similar to Heavy's. Yeah, we've got Heavy's belt buckle, which I think it needs some detail on it, but looks like slacks, or not denim, but maybe these are also chinos. And we got the standard Soviet, what's the word? Standard issue boots. So, and he's bald. This is because if he had a full head of hair, he would be too powerful. But he thankfully got to keep the Jason Statham look with his facial hair, and he's looking up at the sky, thanking God for his immaculate form and prowess. Really just grateful to be the most perfect being that humanity has ever known. And he's got the arm patch. So let's take, that looks like all the Mercs that we've looked at in detail up close. Also has a white shirt under his red shirt. And we're gonna go look around at these boxes. All of them are very neat, well painted. This reminds me of a game, I can't remember the name of it, but you're running around on islands and you're doing parkour and jumping around on like big red buttons. I will in post, it's in my Steam library. I was planning on doing a let's play of it anyways for this channel, so I'll just put some sort of footage and the name up as I talk about this. Let's travel back through Engie's head, because I know that's how to get back to the map. The windows on the outside of this building, it's going to be bright, excuse it. The windows out here are actually missing textures, and you can see blue base is visible through the outside. Pop back into blue base. And we've got all of our Mercs standing and watching as we observed them. Well, this has been CP Cloak. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. I plan on uploading every Thursday for now, but maybe more videos per week as I continue growing. If you have a favorite TF2 map, I take requests, so please tell me in a comment down below. If you're asleep, get good sleeps and sweet dreams. If you're still awake, good luck with the rest of your time. And if you want more, here's a few videos I recommend checking out. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.